It's down doing no Fire being developed here, but that's him being traded out. Now it's a 1v1 situation. It's all on Hump. If he loses this, it is now another tied game towards the route. Oh my god! They're allowing Monster to free fire and take him out. That's the Monster.
Unfreaking believable. Top of his head. You didn't see it, but he gets the kill! Not enough to pick it up in the first time. The shot is there though. It's a massive quad, and Snowy will somehow place the shotgun goes in res onto another 3v2 Stunner. Continues to shut it down, and it's all over. Mr. Pang finish the game, and there.
Hey guys, welcome back to Xenon Season 3. Tonight, first up on the docket is going to be Zero Risk versus Leviathans in our first matchup. I am joined by a pretty darn cool co-caster tonight with Pro League and Challenger League experience. Welcome, Awkward, to the table.
Hi.
Awkward, do you want to talk a little bit about these first two teams that we're going to be seeing playing tonight?
Yeah, sure. So we're gonna be seeing Leviathans versus Zero Risk. Some standout players are on either side. We have Ro from Leviathans with a 1.2 as it stands right now. And then on the other side with Zero Risk, we also have 1.2 coming from Bubs. So I'm expecting a really nice head-to-head from them going into this game. And I'm just really excited to be here.
well, since you weren't here for this match, I will kind of give a little bit of a background because I do know I was able to cast the first Leviathans match, and it was actually on the map that we are going to be going on tonight, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But when they played their last match, I have to give a little bit of credit to P. Loudy, though, because P. Loudy did come in handy with clutch situations. He's just not a consistent player. Now, however, on the other side of the fence, when it comes to Zero Risk, it does seem like there's one player taking brunt of most of the important stuff, you know, as far as like coming in those clutch situations and doing what needs to get done. And that's going to be, like you said, Bubs. So I think that I agree with you. It looks like it's going to be a fairly even match, but I have to say, I think there's a little bit of an edge for Leviathans just because they do have their stats spread out just a little bit more. But we do have our map bans done, so let's go ahead and talk about where we're going. And it looks like we are taking it to Chalet. So being an active analyst and, you know, a former player, like coach and all that stuff, what are some things that you're going to want to see happen here on Chalet, Awkward?
Going along with like the theme of Chalet, there's a lot of like time waste, whether that comes from your roam or your utility denial, all of that. You're going to want to put a lot of time and resources into that in order to pull off a lot of wins on defense. And on attack, you're going to want to be super coordinated with your team, being able to clear out the roamers and any utility that'll come across your path as you head over to site, as you're clearing through the map.
And that is, I will say, would you consider Chalet to be more attacker or defender sided?
I think it really kind of falls on the teams themselves and how they play, but I usually see it being more attacker sided.
And that's where we're going to have to see where these teams are the strongest. If they're going to be bringing the proper operators here in order to set up a proper attack, we will probably see, just like you said, a more attacker sided Chalet tonight. But I'm hoping we have all our players in the lobby and we're ready to go. So, all right. So we do have a couple of players just kind of hanging out. We need a couple more in the lobby, so it might take us about maybe 20-30 seconds to get into the match. But having the experience that you have, Awkward, like, what is something that you've noticed kind of in T3 that you want to see changed as far as these players go?
I want to see a lot more teams come out of the shell a bit. I'm seeing a lot of like teams fall into this like default groove, and someone like me doesn't really like default. We like things a little bit different. I want to see like more aggressive play styles, APAC play styles, things that make the game watch more interesting. But enough with me.
You're supposed to be doing.
I know.
So it is the operator ban phase. We're gonna go and see exactly who's gonna come off the board. We already know, tried and true, more than likely we're gonna see a Thatcher ban here.
I feel like we're gonna see a Flores ban come from Leviathans. That's my guess.
Oh my goodness, as we can already see, Proxies is being awkward.
Oh.
Pun intended, in the chat. But yes, no, Flores is a wonderful ban here because Flores has that potential of not only getting intel, but destroying a whole lot of things. So
Think
very
a
smart
ban.
pick.
Nah,
There's
Thatcher.
the Thatcher.
Damn.
Well, just knowing them from the previous time that it was played, it's actually very smart to ban that Thatcher because we did have a nice little run into the wall situation, which you guys can see in Twitch clips if you want to actually see what happened on that. But the
A
Jaeger is an
Jaeger
interesting.
ban coming into that utility denial that I was talking about. Gonna make it a little bit easier for these clears to happen from the side of the Leviathans in the beginning half of this game.
Oh no, Proxies talking about worms and eyes. This is a little bit awkward. I'm gonna like use your name as a pun all night, but the mute.
I can sense that.
But the mute, that is a very, very unusual ban to see on Chalet. Very smart though, because you're able to deny any type of droning, especially if you place this strategically where there's normal drone paths are. Oh my goodness, we could see some really intense action tonight.
Yeah. Coming from these operator lineups right now, it seems that there's trying to bring some form of denial for these stairs with two shields coming from like the alibi and the smoke, but I don't know if that Wamai is going to be enough to be able to allow them to hold upstairs effectively with only a few magnets to work off of.
Yeah, and with those magnets, they obviously, you don't just get all of them right out the gate like you do with a Jaeger. Unfortunately, you have to wait to get those. So that's going to be a lot of time that they're going to have to figure out how to, keep this Wamai alive in order to, bank up those Wamai discs.
Yeah, and coming from Leviathans, if you look very, very carefully, you will see they have 6 nades from Waffle, Row, and P-Loud. So they're gonna have to dip, dodge, and dive these grenades in order to pull off a win here.
Yeah, and anytime you're playing with a team that has very experienced naders, that's when things get very scary because whenever, like especially with a map like Chalet, you have the ability to toss those grenades up from the bottom and actually do kind of like trick shots where you're taking somebody out and they don't even know that nade's coming. But Monster is going to be the first one to take a little bit of damage here. He's getting kind of active. He's wanting to get whatever player is over here on the balcony. He's literally at this point 1 HP in a dream, and he's gonna have to pull back because at this point you don't want to lose a body this early in the round. You're not even a minute in.
Yeah, coming from this Aruni, very, very early taking damage is not like the best thing, especially when you want to stay up here as long as possible. And he's still aggressing. He's actually, as I say that, gonna fall off over into piano. And we're also going to see Catnip drop off, and they've kind of given most of top floor.
And giving up top floor, that's not always a great thing once again this early in the round. We're less than 2 minutes before we will see round end, and there really isn't any type of plan here from Leviathans. I'm not sure if they're sitting here just trying to like take over the top floor and then eventually move things on, but Waffles is going to get that first kill, putting that death favor in the hands of Leviathans.
So we're going to be seeing Bubs kind of lurking over to the dining room side as he covers lobby for any form of push in this later half of the round, but I honestly don't think he's going to see much action. As you see, Waffle's the only person kind of in the area, and he's focused on vertical control. And he will shift down to lobby, maybe? No, I don't. Oh, here we go. We're going to see the fight happen between Waffle and Bubs. Bubs feeling like he has the advantage here, but no one's going to cross paths just yet.
No,
As
patience.
I say,
Ooh. Yes, and we're going to see in this last 30 seconds that things are going to start heating up here. We're going to see 2 back and forth kills. It looks like Proxies is going to get this plant down. He's holding that F key for dear life. Bubs is going to try to go in and potentially get this planter and kill him. Once these cross angles are set up, you can't do anything about it, and Chu is going to take down that last player of Zero Risk, taking that first round in the favor of Leviathans.
total domination coming from Leviathans. A 1v4 at the end there. That's... I feel like if you're Leviathans right now, I'm sitting very confidently off that first round, knowing that you just got to keep up this pace, and we're going to go home with, what is it, 3 points? Is that... I'm not really sure the scoring system. Is it 3-2-1-0? Over OT win and loss?
I believe so, but it looks like Zero Risk has decided to go all the way downstairs to one of the tried and true sites, which is going to be our snowmobile garage and wine cellar. This is where we've seen quite a bit of the fun battles that happen on a map like Chalet. Would you care to explain about some of the typical things that we see go down on these sites?
A lot of roam. A lot of people will either extend horizontally or vertically in order to take up as much room as possible for as long as possible, so they're not condensed like sardines in a can on site.
And so you say sardines in a can, like what's kind of the typical thing that we'll see usually whenever a team kind of bunches up like that?
A lot of kills happen really fast, either with a beautiful refrags or none at all.
Well, it does seem like Bubs is wanting to try to get active a little bit early. He's hanging out in that closet. That closet has the ability to have so many different angles that you can shoot from, but he's already going to take more than 50% of his health off the board. But Waffle, oh, unfortunately, Waffle is going to be taken out by a C4, so that is the first kill on the board. We have a 1 round each where they are trading off those first kills.
Who got that C4? That was Mr. Alex? Yeah.
Yes, that was Mr. Alex. And then the sledge goes down. That is not good. Sledge is supposed to be the one who opens up your vertical angles and gets those cheeky little shots to where you can't see the vertical player, but the vertical player can see you.
I don't even know where that C4 went off.
Do we have a big hole in the floor somewhere?
Maybe solar?
It looks like it may have been up in office.
Huh. That doesn't look like an explosion hole to me, man. Anyways, we're gonna be seeing them take from West Main over. It looks like they're gonna go for a wine execute here. And for something to be successful like that, you're gonna need to get some walls open, but looking at their roster right now, it's not looking too hot, as they only really have Proxima to make holes, and that's going to take a lot of time with this Habana.
Well, Chu also has the hard breaching tool, so he has the ability to open up some areas as well. But Ro's going to come out, get that beautiful kill onto Monster, but he's immediately refragged and taken down by Bubs. So now we're in a 4v2 situation. 40 seconds left here in the round. This isn't totally undoable. A 4v2 can become 2v2 very quickly if you know how to properly execute it. So Proxies is going to sit here and he's going to try to make some distractions by opening up some holes. And Almanzo being such a sneaky guy here. It looks like he's going to try to get some additional kills for his team, but patience is the key. Smokes are going to start going out. 19 seconds left here in the round. Now we are down to that 2v2 situation that I was talking about. Carrier goes down, and it looks like Zero Risk just had Leviathans' number and knew exactly how to end this round.
A botched kind of execute kind of coming out from Leviathans, as they had a beautiful 2v2 situation, very, very winnable, but they refused to clear pillar, even though they had holes open for it, which allowed them, Zero Risk, to just swing them and just drop diffuser. It was very, very sloppy, and I want to see better from Leviathans.
I wondered what the thought process on that was, if that botched execution was because of timer anxiety, or was it because of lack of communication? Because I know either one of those things can really mess a player up.
I think it was lack of common sense.
Oh.
Because you should know that there's someone pillar. There is always someone pillar. Always. And if there's not someone pillar, there was. So you should always check.
So what you're saying is,
especially right before you're about to go plant.
So what you're saying is that's basically our favorite Siege 101 rule on Oregon, where if you're pushing downstairs, expect someone to be on pillar, always.
Yes, 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 yes. Always nade it first.
Always need it first.
Throw as many flashbangs as you can. Make their day a living hell.
So
That's what they
honestly,
do with me.
They could have benefited from a Ying there, essentially.
Always benefit from the Ying, especially on Chalet. Utility burn central.
Well, we are now officially up to master bedroom and office. Things are already starting to get very, very fun here. I always love to see when a team brings a pulse on the board, because that's not only great intel for your team, but that is C4 Central. And when I say C4 Central, we have 4 on the board. Bubs is going to take out P. Loudy, but it looks like a refrag from Waffle's going to come out. Waffle is always there when you need him.
That's your sledge gun. Given they are upstairs, so you can kind of let it slide. But now that you lost Chew, I don't know if I can let that slide. Like, that's your flank watch gone, and your flex gone. Now you're going to have to salvage this round with 2 minutes still left on the clock in the 3v4. And they still have nitros and utility to spare.
Yeah, well, we have seen in the first 2 rounds, though, that they do get pretty close to either, fully completing an execute, or, unfortunately, uncommon sensibly trying to do an execute, but they're getting close, and it's those kind of last seconds that we're seeing that happen in. So we could be just really seeing a slowly playing Leviathans.
We're going to see Waffle kind of walk into piano, get a feel for the room, not clear behind another kind of pillar almost, that little half wall that goes into the bathroom. He doesn't really know that the castle's there, but that won't matter because Elzomo is going to take out Ro, Proxima is going to get downed, and it's just going to be Waffle. Now that he has Proxima back up, he's going to be prone on the breach, kind of trying to work anything he can. He's going to get taken out by Catnip from piano, and now it's just a 1v4 for Waffle. He's going to chill, take that little bit of attack time out, bait for some kills, bait for that Siege GG, if you know. And he's going to whip his shots, not kill Alex, and Alex is going to take his UMP, shoot a couple bullets, and win the round. Now it's 2-1.
And see, that's the unfortunate thing about being in those 1v4 situations. If you're not aggressive and confident in your shots, you're just going to get pinched. And that's literally what we just watched. Unfortunately, Proxima goes down. Not only did he get killed by, a player, but there was a C4 to confirm it just in case. But down to kitchen and dining room we go. This is going to be probably the one site that I hate on Chalet the most, and it's because you can't do much with kitchen, so you're always playing dining room.
Locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Do you know who got that first kill? Bubs. It was Bubs.
Yeah, it was Bubs because he got immediately refragged afterwards.
Discovered the location of a bomb.
All right. So, now we're going to see some kitchen. A lot of what kitchen comes down to is your vertical hold. It's almost like you're holding upstairs as a site, but you don't have to stay there. You can leave. And really what's it's gonna come down to is how long Zero Risk can hold on 2 upstairs, and how many people can they take out along the way?
Seconds remaining.
So, let's talk about the Leviathans, though. What are some of the things that you've seen so far that they could correct to potentially make this a successful round?
Simply not dying. Just don't die. Just kill everyone in the map, even your teammates. Doesn't matter. Just kill everyone and just win.
Oh, I see. Don't tell proxies that. I've worked with proxies before. You tell him to kill his teammates, he'll do it.
Yeah, I know Chu will be right on top of that too. But no, and in all seriousness, I do feel like they need to be playing a little bit more together in the sense that they're not letting their flexes or their supports die so early. I mean, they've had just P Loudy and Waffle kind of die early, but other than that, it's been a lot of
Chew!
Oh wow.
Chew! Speaking of Chew's gonna get the first kill on the board. We're gonna have a couple back and forths here. Waffle's gonna get catnip. We're also gonna see another player on the board on the side of Zero Risk go down. So we are now in a 4v3 situation. The man advantage is in the favor of the Leviathans. I think things are gonna start speeding up here, and we're gonna see some really nasty plays possibly. But I'm usually corrected.
This is what I was talking about. They need to be a little bit faster. Get those trades and get the opening picks because they'll just win. They're working vert now. They're trying to push everyone out of where they want them to be.
Located a bomb.
And we're gonna see 2 people walk up solar. Waffle's gonna take out the first one. The second one's not gonna be seen. He's gonna try and fall back. He's gonna take a lot of damage. But he's gonna just chill. Bottom trophy. He's gonna take off that head of Proxima. Oh my goodness.
Oh, Mr. Alex, not are you only the top frag on your team, but you are nasty with your shots. We have 1 minute left in this round. I'm really concerned because if Mr. Alex keeps performing in this way, he's going to decimate the Leviathans. But Bubs and Mr. Alexander both have less than 100 HP combined right now.
Missed those shots on the vert, but he's still not going to take out P Loudy. Bubs on the other side of the map, super far away from sight. Going to come for this retake, but I don't think Leviathan knows that he's off site yet, or they would have been executing. They're still droning, and they have no idea. The drop's going to come in. Bubs is going to take out Waffle, putting it at a 1v2. They're holding him from the door on the vert, which means they can plant if they want to, but he's going to need to pick up this kill in order to cover the plant, and he will. Putting it at a solid 2-2 now.
Now, the only thing is he technically didn't have to necessarily get that kill. He had the numbers advantage with his teammates where he could have just been holding that angle while his teammate went to plant. Granted, either way, it did win them the round, but we're going right back down, all the way downstairs to Wine Cellar and Snowmobile. I'm hoping things heat up a little bit more and we see a little more unusual action. And I will say, by unusual, we are going to see the Azami and Warden come out from Zero Risk. Give us a rundown of the way that you've seen Azami play so far in this season of Siege.
So I haven't been watching as much as I should be, and I feel very bad about it. But from what I've seen with her, she's used as a very, very flexible shield player, almost as if she's like a Goyo minus the AoE denial post shield mortem.
Shield mortem.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've ever heard that.
They're gonna be just giving Big Garage. It's giving Big Garage, and for me, and I don't like that. I like to like put my foot in there a little bit, stall for some drones, because it takes a lot out of an attacking team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't always rely on that mute ban to do all that work for you, because when teams figure out that there's, that the mute's not off off the board, like, they're going to exploit the fact that they know you can get drones in there. So these teams aren't going to wait for you to, get your setup done to go search for everything. That's not how the world of Siege is played. They want to get as much intel as possible, but oh my goodness, P Loudy right out the gate is going to take down the top fragger and the Azami. There goes those Kiva barriers, which unfortunately can't protect Zero Risk any longer.
There's your top frag gun from Zero Risk. And your flexible shield player. Such a shame.
Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser.
Monster's gonna take a proxy. That's your hard breach.
That's diffuser. That's diffuser down.
Wow. I'm just at a loss for words.
Two very critical players off the board immediately. And here's the thing, Leviathans are going to have to go back and grab that diffuser if they want to do a proper execute. If they don't, we're essentially going to be watching team deathmatch at this point.
Yeah, they still haven't really cleared anything. They've just kind of chilled in trophy for the most part as Waffles walked around the map, and he's going to take out one monster. He will take out the second as well with Bubs. Now you've had a successful roam clear as the third's going to swing him and he's going to lose. Waffles still picking up more. And he's going to leave Catnip left on site.
So it looks like at this point they don't have to go get the diffuser. They have the numbers to essentially make this a round win. It's just going to come down to patience. But Roe isn't going to be as patient as he needs to be, but it looks like P. Loudy may have used that as bait in order to swing and get that refrag for the round win. And now we are moving into the last round of the half before we switch sides.
Waffle went absolutely huge that round to get that big enough opening for his team to just be able to waltz in onto site. And that's what you look for in an entry, is to get those huge plays to allow your team to capitalize.
So right back down to the exact same site that we were just on. What does it mean to you, like obviously as an analyst and as a former player, whenever a team wants to go back to the site that they had just played?
Many bombs as they can.
That they're not done there. They have more to show, and they know they can take it. They've been either playing stupid, or they're finally seeing through this attack plan that the other team will have. But they've figured out something on this site. They've had a breakthrough, and they're gonna want to come back to it to show it off.
Well, hopefully that is indeed the case. I know some teams do tend to go back to a site because they feel the most comfortable there, but comfort doesn't always equal success, which we've obviously just seen. But we are starting to see things start dwindling down. We're going to be moving into the official attack phase. And I see something on the board that I have not seen in a hot minute. P. Loudy is going to be bringing out the OSA. I love P. Loudy on an OSA. I've actually seen him play it once again, Oregon, where he actually does this inchworm technique where he slowly goes forward, places down a shield so his teammate can kind of come behind him and use that shield to, potentially protect themselves while he continues forward with those additional shields.
This direct attack is either going to go very well or very poorly, very, very quickly. And I can't wait to find out which one it is.
Well, smoke canisters are going out very early. Usually we don't see smoke canisters go out like 30 seconds into the round. So this is going to be patience. If they can cause Zero Risk to waste a lot of their utility, especially those smoke canisters, this is going to be a successful round.
I think it's going to be more of how long Zero Risk can just keep them outside this breach. Because you can stall for a lot of time just waiting here if they don't give up the necessary picks.
Imagine if we get a run out. Imagine.
No, we're going to see a beautiful nade, but it just won't quite connect right away. Some more magnets going down. That's a cheeky spot. They can't really shoot it. But you know what? They can shoot a Zomo on main stairs as they're going to progressively take site.
Yeah, right now it's going to be slow and methodical. Who's the one who's going to be making the best plays in the time that they're allotted here? But it looks like P. Loudy's going to inchworm himself into there. He's going to start getting that plant down. Plant is successfully down. We are now into seconds before this round is over. We have a 4v3 situation. This is totally doable on the side of Zero Risk, but Waffles is going to take down Bubs. And then P. Loudy's going to take down Catnip as Waffle simultaneously goes down. We do have that diffuser in a very, very sticky situation, but Chu, once again, is going to come out of the gate, confirm that last kill on Mr. Alexander, and bring it to a 4-2 half.
Who is the first dead there?
I believe the first dead was on the side of Zero Risk. I believe it was Monster.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that, but I do know it was on the side of Zero Risk.
I think it was P. Loudy that got the kill, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Yep, as the carrier and the OSA.
Yes.
But so sides have been flip-flopped. Zero Risk is now in charge of the attack. The Leviathans have been known to have a pretty strong defense as long as they are playing in unison. They like to do a lot of extension. The worst thing, though, is the fact that if you're not letting people get to Proxima while he's playing that smoke and holding on, you don't get to really see as many clutch situations from the Leviathans when they're on defense.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Yeah. So we did end up seeing the attacker side that we thought we would, but now we're gonna see if it was just a fluke with Leviathans just being the better team, or if we're actually gonna see a proper balance here. I personally think the Leviathans are gonna pull away here. I'm a little disappointed. I wanted to see a little bit more from Ro, but he hasn't been getting those engagements that he should be. But maybe we'll see some form of turnaround with this side slip. But huge shout out to Waffle going 10-5 right now. Very, very effective as his team carry.
Homie's got a 2.0 KD right now.
He does.
He
Something
has,
ranked players envy.
He literally has double the kills of pretty much any of the closer teammates he has, but Catnip's gonna take that first kill out onto Ro. Ro traditionally being one of the top fraggers for Leviathans, but it's nice to see some of that role change hands because you can't predict exactly who you are going to want to target in order to take down and, put that, essentially breaking the leg of Leviathans. That's one of the cool things about, being able to actually be a team that has multiple, fraggers at any given point in time. But with that being said, we do see this pretty basic extension here. Waffle's going to be on mezzanine. Pilates is going to be on the stairs. Those stairs is kind of like a pillar situation. You have to take that player out because if you don't, you can't really push anywhere.
We're going to see Mr. Alex get taken out by Waffle, just adding another kill to his list. C4 goes out, won't find anything, but who will find something? Chew on the DMR, taking out Monster in Kitchen. Still clearing above with Bubs. Shield finally gonna get taken out? No?
Nope.
Maybe now? Hopefully?
If you threw 2 grenades at that stairwell and you did not get that,
it doesn't look like it because he's sitting there confidently. Yep, P. Loudy still has his shield, mighty strong.
Somebody needs to go back and work on their nade pitches because that's not acceptable for at this level of comp. But we're gonna see Catnip take down Chew. We're in a 3v3 situation with 51 seconds here left in the round. This is going to be where things are going to heat up on the side of Zero Risk. They're gonna have to get very active here. They're gonna have to hold crosses and purposefully push so they can actually get these kills. Alzomo still does have the diffuser. He's got a great amount of HP, especially for 30 seconds left here in the round. But as long as Leviathans kind of hang on here and they play this slow and they let them come to them, they could win this. But Waffle, we all know, loves to get active, and he's going to see, unfortunately, a death in as a result of that. But Alzamo is going to try to go behind that bar and get that plant down. But always look by your bombs because somebody's probably going to be hiding there, especially when it's proxies with a shotgun.
Leviathans were just perfectly set up for that execute. They had people that in the perfect places. They had people on the stairs. They had people behind them. They had people just right up in their face, and it worked. Leviathans are playing their game right now, and Zero Risk can't really seem to grab any foothold or anything to just gain any form of momentum. And we're gonna see Leviathans pull away at this rate if Zero Risk don't change something. And I think that thing is they need to get the bomb down.
I mean, to me at this point, I really do feel like Zero Risk, they've got some potential. They have the ability. You can see the ideas and the way that they're wanting to push. They just I feel like there's a lot of like just basic mechanics that need to be worked on, such as those nade pitches. You know, throwing it that first nade, okay, understandable, you might not be able to get that shield, but if you're throwing it a second time, that shield should go down.
Yes.
That's without a doubt that has to happen. And if you're not able to do those small fundamental things, that's going to actually hurt you more than being a good mechanically skilled player. Fundamentals is essentially what builds your foundation in order to play as a very good team.
They're the building blocks.
Do those building blocks
Are
have
we-
ABCs on them?
Yes. It looks like we're gonna see just a main push. But Waffle seems to be perfectly set up for that if he can see it happen in time. Oh my gosh, he takes it the first one.
Waffle takes down Catnip. He's on that Oryx. Oryx has a amazing ability to... Yeah, he has the amazing ability to be probably one of the hardest to counter roamers on the side of defense, because he's got that Rama dash where he can just essentially get the hell out of there as soon as he gets his first kills.
Sorry, did you call it a Ramadash?
I think it's called a Rama dash.
Rima.
Rima? Oops.
Pretty sure it's Ramadash. But anyways, I
It's a dash.
digress. We're gonna watch Bubs here just sit on piano double door and bait. Just kidding. No, he's gonna be trying to take upstairs in order to get that Cade Claw off the wall. But Ro and Waffle are going to be in the way and stopping him from doing that. As I say that, the Cade Claw will get off the wall from a nade from below. And we will... Oh, no, it's still on. I lied to you. It's still there. And we're going to have P. Loudy with a super long angle into top Ivy. But I don't think he's going to really find much there.
No, I have a feeling Zero Risk kind of know that angle. They kind of figured... You know, they more than likely have done their homework here. They kind of know a little bit of these setups. But we do have wall finally opened. And this is where we're going to have to see Zero Risk really start putting that plan to execute into play.
They burnt that elbow gate. They have wall open. They have upstairs wall open. Now they need to get like 1 or 2 picks in order to be able to put bomb down and then go for execute. And the people that are going to be very, very crucial in this execute denial will be Chu and Proxima. They are the first line of defense right now as these defenders.
Well, I wouldn't count Waffle out necessarily, because if you can have a good flank player actually show up and kind of do some sneaky stuff, they can do a lot of damage, but he's so far off site. There are some trades going on here. Smokes are finally starting to go off. 25 seconds here. This is do or die. Mr. Alexander is just kind of sitting there. He's essentially shooting at nothing. Proxima gets Alzamo down, but Monster is going to come out and get P. Loudy. Another smoke goes out. 10 seconds left here. It is a 2v1. If Chu can just hold off, Chu can save this round. We are 1v1. 2 seconds left. I think we're going to have it based on time, but Monster is going to take out Chu in an almost impossible situation.
Oh my goodness, Chu, run away.
He had seconds. All he had to do was stay alive. And he didn't.
In my notes, that goes under Chul trolled 1v1. Chu trolled.
I have a feeling that there's going to be a
1v1.
DM between you and him later about that situation.
I'm already in his Twitter DM saying, what the hell are you doing, man?
And he's over here in our all chat just going, whoops. That's not a good thing.
That's not a whoopsie.
No, that's a, you got a little too aggressive when you could have just sat in a corner and just not did anything. But still, Leviathans do have a 2-round lead. They were going to lose a round at any point in time. Right then and there would have been the best place to get it, because they're also 2 rounds away from winning this matchup. So we're all the way back downstairs. This is actually my favorite site from the side of Leviathans, and it's because they set it up so well that if they start pushing those garage doors, like, you have at least sometimes 1 to 2 players either ready to run out, like, or jump out onto, you know, those players on garage, but you also have P. Loudy that kind of likes to camp site and will swing on you. It gets very gross.
Oh, very early spawn peak, but nothing found from it. As Waffle will just walk away as if nothing happened.
Is this going to be a main again? Or are they going to completely forego wall here?
I think they're gonna do another direct.
Yeah, they do have the Kaid Claw up there, so it is going to make it a little bit more difficult for them to go get those garage doors. Now, if they can get that Kaid Claw down, like that's going to essentially open that space wide open for them. But we will see the same situation. It'll be a standoff until they're able to push it, push somebody in there and actually get those plants down. And it looks like tried and true, Chew and Proxies are going to be the ones on site ready to start swinging and get those kills the moment that wall is opened up.
Wall's finally getting open now, as we're a minute into the game. But he will get tricked as Chew, making up for his botched 1v1. As I say that, he's gonna miss the Twitch drone. But he will trick the wall? Successfully?
Almost. Timing wasn't there. The thermite charge did not go down in time to properly trick it. But it's the Kaid Claw's still there.
Not for long, as this nade's gonna go out and take it out. Ah, what?
Still there. It's up top.
Terrible naders. Oh my goodness. There it goes. And now Chew will disappear into the night as wall gets open.
Say, I don't know, if I was Chew, I would have held that down a little bit more because I got a C4 in my hand and that could be multiple players right there.
I'm just swinging outside the breach as soon as wall gets open.
Where's Waffle? That's my question. Where is our not afraid to jump out man? Because he literally needs to jump out and get some kills at this point because he's chasing down a player that just isn't really doing much right now.
He's fighting ghosts as someone was outside on Ego Bow. But Monster's gonna get throttled by Chew in this execute. They're just gonna all run in. Alzamo's gonna avoid the smokes. Pick's gonna come out left and right from either side. Bub's in a 1v2 now, bombed down. Not planted. I meant dropped, not down. As Bub's gonna push elbow, he's not gonna see P Loudy right away. And that will be the death of him.
And now we are officially on match point. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I am such a bad caster. I didn't realize we had sends on the board. Because as soon as those ROU devices started going out, that created those blocked lines of sight that gave Zero Risk the confidence to push in. And push in with numbers and guns up. That's what got them this round. Or that's what almost got them this round. But unfortunately, them not properly holding it down while their player went for that plant, that's where things fell apart.
Yeah, and now with Leviathans on match point, they have a lot of wiggle room here, but they're also going to one of their best sites.
Locate and defuse bombs.
Zero Risk are going to need to play perfectly here in order to keep their foot in the door and somehow bring back this game.
And it is something that is totally doable here. We've seen some underdog stories. We've seen some insanities happen where a team can literally go 5-6 rounds in a row and completely take this, take that match. We could potentially see it here because sometimes teams get that fire underneath their butts whenever it comes down to the wire.
10 seconds remaining.
Again, I haven't seen too much outside the box plays from either team, and I'm bored. I want to see it. I want to see some crazy stuff happen.
I mean, we saw the Sens. The Sens came out, so that's not something we've seen too much yet.
That's to be expected. Sense is good. You should run Sense. He's a better smoke player.
I mean, true, very true, and it's an attacker, so you basically kind of have a smoke on attack, but it can't kill you.
No, I meant just like smokes as in regular smoke grenades.
Oh yeah, brain fart. This is what happens when I cast on a Monday.
You silly goose. It's okay.
So we are on match point, and we are on, like you said, Leviathans' best site. So coordination is what we're gonna hopefully see here from Zero Risk, because coordination is what they need in order to take this additional round. But I think we see, if I'm not mistaken, that's got to be Waffle. The one who's up there on mezzanine and active, I'm thinking that's Waffle, because he is quite the nasty player when you give him some space to wiggle around.
Well, he won't be wiggling too much from a coffin as he's been put into the ground by Alex. Pilati will reply with a pick on El Zomo, as they are now 4-4, still holding on upstairs. A lot of burn gonna go out, but
Attackers recovered the bomb.
the shield will get taken out finally by Alex, taking also Pilati out with it. As Bubs is gonna get traded out. Proxima's gonna take some damage. Ro's gonna get up a pick on Catnip, putting it in a 3v2. He's just gonna fall off. There is someone elbow though. Rowan's gonna need to be very careful here if he does swing out of this door.
I mean, the fall off isn't a bad idea. You're protecting numbers. You're giving yourself the advantage of having that additional player. Now, Mr. Alexander is going to be looking up towards the mezzanine stairs because he thinks he hears something. But we do have the most important player of the night at the moment, which is Chu. He's going to be sitting here on site. He whiffed his first initial attempt at getting Monster out. Flashes are going to start going in to try to get some distraction here because he wants to start pushing and get this player so they can set up for a decent plant over in games. But Chu is not wanting to waver on this position because if they can get Ro off the board and then Chu gets Mr. Alexander, but the Leviathans are going to call it a night and they're going to take their 7th round and the match win, all because of great angles. I don't know why Chu wants to die, but apparently Chu wants to die.
Yeah, because he got downed there, but not out. As Waffle, P. Loudy, and Chu had a great game.
Yes, they sure did, all with, I believe, double digits, which is really nice to see because it's going to change their stats as far as their game stats quite a bit because it's going to show a little bit more even gameplay there.
Yeah, so throughout this game, out of our beautiful 10 rounds that we got to witness, we saw pretty good start from Leviathans. They went up 2-1, and then they just slowly started to slip from there. And I don't know, but they were just missing that oomph, that special sauce. I don't know what else to call it, but there was a lackluster performance coming from them, and I wanted to see more. Whereas Leviathans played their hearts out, and it showed. And they walk away with 3 points and a pat themselves on the back as they are now, I believe, 6 points, putting them at tied for first with Valence.
Well, darn, go Leviathans. And speaking of the Leviathans, we are going to try to get one of the players here in the voice chat with us so we can chat with them for a few minutes before we go into our second matchup of the night. So if you guys don't mind, we are going to take a couple minutes so we can pull a player in and we'll be right back to you.
one.
Thank you guys so much for giving us that moment so we could bring in P. Loudy, and we are also joined by Proxies, who's in the background with a red panda. But probably the star of the show is going to be Zeus, who is their fluffy little corgi who does not like being on camera. But yeah, let's talk about that matchup that we just had. What did you guys do differently this week compared to the last time that we saw you on Chalet?
I think the big thing that we cleaned up was our coordination, and you could kind of tell it towards the beginning is that it was very slow, we just weren't together, and it was kind of like, okay, I think it was that we were either 1-2 or 2-2, and it was like, okay, we gotta just actually work together and actually clear the map and just go. And once we did that, we just kind of started winning rounds and just didn't stop. So
That's pretty solid. I think I'm coming in with the next question here, and I'm gonna ask something less game related and more of like personal with you and the team, because everyone wants to know more about the teams that they watch, right? So I want to know if you guys over at Leviathans have any like pre-game rituals or like superstitions. You know where I'm going with this?
yeah, I gotcha.
Oh god, I see Proxy smiling in the background. I'm scared.
They're scared of you, Addison. No, not today, but yesterday, one thing that we brought back that we did a while ago was there's a game on Steam that is $2, I think it is. It's rounds, and we modded it like crazy, and we played it for an hour before our match yesterday. And we did that a long time ago in between qualifiers, not for Xenon but for another league, and we won, so hey, that's all that matters.
All right. So now, do you have any shout outs you want to give? Shout out your fans, anyone else?
Yeah, I should probably shout out a few people. We got old coach, got Alk, not you, Addison, you don't get a shout out. Got obviously shout out my duo, Skylar, and then the rest of my team. Got at I don't know the ads, Addison. What are the ads? Sure.
Yo!
Oh no. Oh
It's,
no. You guys get ready for the censor button.
It's at Proxies with 2 X's and a Z and an S or something. At RoR6Siege, at Chew_R6, at P_Loudy, at I don't remember Waffles at. He doesn't matter. Yeah.
Oh!
At Velocity with like 1,000,000 underscores. And then that's it. You know, thank you to Zeus. He's the best dog. He always keeps me motivated, and you know, I brought all my red pandas down here to show. The little one and this is the big one. I think they're pretty cute. That's all I have to say.
I know. How long have we been petitioning you to change your name to redpanda.lev?
I don't know. There's a guy out there in like T4 whose name is Red Panda. I don't know where he is now, but I like him. I've never talked to him. I wish I had though. And if he's watching this, then hit me up on Twitter and we'll start e-dating or something. I don't know.
Well, you guys heard it here first. Apparently, Proxies is looking for his forever duo.
Yeah.
But no, thank you guys so much for joining us. We have another matchup to come. We're going to have Homeland Academy versus Superlight, and we will be taking a quick little break while we get that lobby set up. So once again, thank you guys from the Leviathans. Congratulations on your win tonight, and we'll see you guys back here next week.
Bye-bye.
And we will see the rest of you who are watching here in a few minutes.
not looking possible. It's Blue taking out the pickup. Playing kids down, doing no. Crossfire being held here, but that's him being traded out. Now it's a 1v1 situation. It's all on Hump. If he loses this, it is now another tied game for it's the round. Oh my god! They're allowing Monster to Blue Fire and take him out. That's the Monster.
Unfreaking believable. Top of his head. You didn't see it, but he gets the kill. Pick it up in the face plant. The shot is there though. It's a massive quad, and Snowy will somehow place the shotgun goes in res onto another 3v2 stunner. Continues to shut it down, and it's all over. Mr. Pang finish the game, and there it is.
Welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for being patient with us while we took a little break to get our second matchup all together for tonight. We are going to see Homeland Academy take on Superlight. Let me give you a little bit of background about some of these teams before we talk about some stats. Superlight, if anybody has heard of Superlight, they've been under a little bit of scrutiny lately. Unfortunately, they had an ejection from Static Gaming League under some pretty serious accusations, but they're here in Xenon League to prove that they are worthy of the T3, T4 scene. And I can go ahead and tell you, we've been talking with some of the admins and the production staff, and they have said that so far they are clean, so they are performing to their best, at their best as well. But on the side of Homeland Academy, we did see them play last week on Clubhouse. They had some very interesting strategies that they played, but they also played very slow and methodical. But since this is Awkward's first time seeing these two teams, he has our stat sheet and he can kind of speak upon the numbers.
Numbers. What do they mean? Well, here's what they mean. Superlight has a bunch of heavy hitters. Starting off, going down the list, we have, oh my gosh, how did we say we were going to pronounce it?
It is Cohen.
Cohen with a 1.3 right off the bat. And matching that is Rival with a 1.3. We have Floofs with a 1.2. Capsule with a 1.0. And Kiru with a 1.4. Now you got to think, wow, those are some pretty big numbers. What about Homeland? Homeland has Mute topping it off with a 1.3. And then going down the list, we have Gunrider with a 0.7, Harbor with a 1.1, Angon with a 0.7, and Lucas with a 0.6. So you can see just off rip, Superlight kind of in the advantage.
Now, as far as when you say advantage, do you believe that strategy can win over a mechanically and number skilled player?
You can strat out the wazoo. Doesn't mean anything if you can't hold it.
So essentially what we're going to see here is potentially a very, very well-stratted team versus a very, very mechanically gifted team. So this could go either way. And I am happy to say we do have our map bans done as well. So let's go ahead and queue those up and we'll see where we're going tonight. And it looks like we are going right back to Chalet, but Awkward actually told me something very interesting during the break. This is the first time both teams have visited Chalet here during Season 3.
That is correct. So we don't really know what we're going to see from either side, but knowing Superlight and how they play, they're probably going to play very quickly and to the teeth, and they're just going to be everywhere they need to be all at once. And Homeland, as you said, they're probably going to play a lot slower and take their time setting up things to try and dot all the I's and cross the T's, if that makes sense.
Well, I do believe, I'm hoping that we have everybody ready to go so we can get into some operator bans, because this is where it's going to determine how things are going to be played, depending on what operators are allowed in and which ones are not allowed in. So before we get those up, do you have any predictions, Mr. Analyst?
Thatcher.
Well, yes, Thatcher.
Thatcher. Thatcher.
Flores?
Maybe Mira. Maybe Mira.
Maybe Flores?
Maybe Flores. Maybe Maverick. Maybe Habana.
See, Habana would be a smart one because that would be detrimental to those long distance breaching players.
Exactly. I'd love to see a thermite because then it forces the range. And then you have those more awkward holes, no pun intended. And it's slower to get wall open. Whereas thermite, you just go, boom, you're done, and you leave.
Yeah. Well, that's some of the things that we would like to see because like we were talking about earlier is we've seen a lot of very default things go on in the world of Siege, especially this season. We did get to see the Sens come out for a singular round last match. I would love to see the Sens come out more consistently because they are a very powerful operator. New gun, great technology to be able to actually, destroy those lines of sight and send multiple people in, especially if you have guns up and great angles. Whoo, that could do some damage.
It can. I'm kind of waiting to see if we're gonna have any very aggressive spawn peaks come out from Superlight. I always like seeing spawn peaks. Just for the sole fact of it gets the game going quicker.
And I mean, there's some potentials for some good runouts too.
There is.
Especially that
you got your trophy, you got your mud room, you got library balcony, you got ego, bathroom window, piano window.
So yeah, I think we officially have that lobby set up and ready to go.
I think
I'm
we
excited.
got the go ahead here.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's not ready.
I was
Okay.
lied to.
So it does look like we're having a little bit of a struggle getting everybody in lobby. So we do need a couple minutes to get this done. So if you guys don't mind, we're going to send it to a quick break and we will be right back and go immediately into game as soon as we have everybody ready to go. So we'll see you guys back in a few minutes. And we are back and straight into the game we go. So we are on Chalet, one of the most beautiful maps, at least in my opinion, because it has great views. And we're going to start this operator ban phase. So we already know Awkward thinks Thatcher's coming off the board.
Thatcher. Yes.
Imagine if they leave the Thatcher on the board and don't play it well. Oh,
I will-
we saw that from Leviathans on the first day.
Que pasa? A knock.
There will be no knock-knock jokes tonight, unfortunately.
Boo.
So this is probably going to be either a Flores or a Thatcher. I am predicting probably the Thatcher on this one.
Watch, we're gonna see a Thermite or a Finca.
Finca would be hella smart, but there's the Flores.
So we don't see it. I was wrong. I think I gotta retire now.
Oh no, didn't you already do that once?
Hey,
You're
watch
not.
it.
Hey,
Watch
you
yourself.
you don't have boomer status, so no. But yes, so first defensive operator that's gonna come off. I'm assuming this could be the Kaid, but Valkyrie is always a great pick because Valkyrie has black eye cameras, and you can get some real good intel off those cameras. What are you thinking for this last one?
Cade.
You said it when it happened. It don't count.
It does count.
But yes, the Cade is off the board, so no electric claw tricking. But if they have a good bandit player, we could still see him see some electrified wall action.
So you're gonna see a lot less lurking, a lot more burn, but easier wall to get open. And we're not gonna be seeing a mute. We actually see no wall denial on kitchen, which is kind of tricky since they're basically going to be giving lobby walls for free.
Oh well.
But we'll see how it works out. We have a mirror up on the board. We got a Goyo, 2 vectors with 2 C4s, 2 shields, and barbed wire. Pretty well-rounded.
I know you're concerned about the wall denial, but I do know Goyo specifically with those Vulcan canisters. We've seen a lot of players place those Vulcan canisters on reinforced walls, so that way when the opposing team tries to open up those reinforced walls, they are met with a blazing fire. So there's kind of a pseudo wall denial there, but without even having a Jaeger on the board, this is a little scary.
Would you call that wall denial, or would you call that entry denial?
I mean, it could be a little bit of both, if you think about it.
But you're not denying the wall with it.
True, but you also are creating a really sticky situation for the other team. So it's a great strategy.
I would say spicy situation, but hey.
True. I mean, he is from South America, so we we do have a spicy man on the board right now.
We're gonna be seeing Kiro here. Just checking all the spawn peaks, making sure he doesn't get picked off first. But complete opposite, we're gonna see Rival actually in the building already, taking most of the vert control for the map. He's just stuck at that piano. But with his team catching up, they're slowly gonna work on it. As with that no wall denial, office wall is gonna get opened immediately.
Things already starting to get hairy for the side of Homeland Academy. Homeland Academy, as we talked about in our little pre-show situation, they play very slow and very methodical. They kind of stick to whatever plan that they have. Now that can be great because it allows them to keep those mentals in check and they know exactly what needs to be done. However, if you are a team like Superlight, you have that ability to have full confidence in your ability to swing and get those shots out. So once you start going into the building and discovering where these players are, you will be swinging left and right. And honestly, that could just cause Homeland Academy just to dissolve almost instantly.
Early damage coming out from Harbor and Mute here, as they're just caught rotating and falling off. I believe Superlight are now going to have full above control. And now they're going to work their vert and get ready for sight. Rival's going to take out Mute very early. Visify is actually going to take a lot of damage from, I don't know who, but someone on the vert. Nades are going to be coming out to clear the shields and clear out players, but the nade will miss the smoke. as Floofs I see will rotate lobby. Harbor's going to be holding the Astros stairs walk down. Main wall is going to be fully open. Angon's been spotted out and naded. He will fall off and drop downstairs, leaving pretty much no one on site. As
Yes.
they have a free walk in, Bomb's going to get put down. Lucas is going to pick up Floofs. Lucas is also going to be down, though. Finished off by Kiru. Putting it at a 3v3 as Angon takes out Cohen. Cohen?
And
Oh my gosh.
35 seconds we have left in the round. It is 3v3. It's almost even, but HP is really going to determine what happens here. Visify is going to take down Capsule, so that is down to that 2v2, but it's back and forth at this point. Agnon is trying to go in for the counter defuse. Is he going to be able to stick it? It doesn't look like it because Kiru is going to get that last kill. Visify does not know exactly where this last player is. He's going to attempt to try to get that defuse down. He's going to use it as a way to trick via sound because he wants to push Rival into a trap, but Visify looks like he wants to try and stick it, but Rival knew exactly where he was, being that sledge and being able to open up those soft floors and creating that angle. That is an angle that is almost impossible to counter when you are trying to take that defuse away from the winning team, which will be Superlight.
Very, very good round coming up from Superlight with their clear. Really got everything that they needed done very early, and were able to almost set up perfectly as they segued from their vert take to their execution.
Yeah, no, that was a beautiful, beautiful thing that we just saw. We saw that balance of aggression as well. They knew where they needed to be and when they needed to be there, but they also were holding those great angles to protect the teammates as well. So those back and forth kills, that's something you want to see because that means they had great intel. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, the zero kind of came into play for that late game as they were able to just kind of clear out everyone that they needed to on site just to walk in.
Yeah, and you know, them getting that wall that early too, that gave them so much time to coordinate and make that final plan to do what they needed to do. But Homeland, I want to point out, they do have this Frost on the board, which is a great negate for those aggressive players, because if they're not paying attention or properly droning, that Frost mat can take one hell of a bite out of somebody's ankle.
I just realized Gunrider isn't actually playing. We have Fisify in instead.
Yeah, I believe Fisify is one of their alternate players. He did play the previous night that I had actually had the chance to cast them. So he's definitely one not to underestimate, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna be seeing the most standard hold I've ever seen. I thought this hold was pretty groundbreaking when it was first kind of came into play, and then I realized everyone did it, and I was like, wow, this is such a boring sight to play. Because if teams can get their utility burn down to a T, this site is the easiest thing possible. And it looks like Superlight have done a pretty good job at perfecting this utility burn. But they haven't gotten this shield yet. There it goes. And they get the ADSs with it. And there. They have top Ivy.
Yeah, and it looks like Mute here is he was actually gonna try to back off a little bit, but he's trying to stand strong, still holding the stairs. This is, like we said previously, this is kind of one of those pillar situations where you have to hold this spot. The moment you give up the spot, this does so much detrimental damage as far as, you know, area control goes for the top, because you want to get that, you know, that vertical control so that way you can have your sledge open up those angles and be able to get those last minute kills like we saw in that first round.
Hero with a great shot onto Lucas. Cohen's gonna take out Mute. Capsule gonna take out Fisify. Oh my gosh, the kills keep coming out. I can't read them fast enough.
Well, we just witnessed the first official flawless round of this matchup, and that round goes in the favor of Superlight. Once again, seeing that insane aggression and ability to commit to their shots, just that we're going to see this time and time again. That's what's going to win them rounds.
Yeah, that first kill rigging out from Cohen onto Mute.
Attackers need to
Or not,
locate
was
and
it Cohen
defuse
onto
as many
Mute?
bombs
Yeah.
as they can.
It just snowballed from there.
But yes, we are going to go down to one of our favorite sites, which is all the way down into the basement, where we're going to see a potentially, I know we've seen Sens come out, but we do see a pretty standard lineup. It looks like they do have some potential to make some changes here as we have the attacker repick. But on the side of Homeland, some of the mix-ups that we're going to see is the Vigil is on the board, the Oryx is now on the board, as well as the Mozzie. So we're going to see duo denial as far as drones out of the Mute and the Mozzie, but we're also going to see a duo roam situation. I love having a Vigil and a Oryx on the board at the same time because you could do so much damage and gather so much intel in such a short amount of time.
Cheeky spawn peek from Lucas, by the way. They're going to be entering below him, so not really working out with the spawn peek. But yes, love the picks of the Oryx and the Vigil. The Mute Mozzie Vigil always gives me SSG vibes on Clubhouse, so I always know I'm going to see a good roam setup when I see a Mute Mozzie. Oh my gosh, they're just going to fully send it. Kier's going to take a lot of damage, but good thing he's thinking he's going to pat himself on the back, take his stim, and leave. And no harm done on either side right now.
No, we're going to eventually see Superlight starting to get a bit more aggressive. One thing that I really like to see here, and this kind of goes back to the whole, kind of proving that they belong here in the competitive scene in T3, is we see them doing quite a bit of droning and gathering quite a bit of intel. So that lets us know that, they're doing their homework. They're making sure that they're communicating to their team to let them know exactly where these players are, so that way they can coordinate properly and, continue these aggressive pushes and making, these round wins.
Here's gonna get that opening pick. And it's gonna just... Oh, I can't even speak right now. Oh my goodness.
I've got you. We've got some backs and forths going here. This is a common theme that we see with Superlight. They're going to start getting refrags left and right. They want to make sure that they keep as many people on the board as possible. But unfortunately, Harbor's going to go down. Harbor's going to take Rival down. So it's slowly going to start evening things up. We're now in a 2v2 situation. This is an ideal situation for the side of Homeland Academy because they want to make sure that Superlight does not have even the slightest bit of advantage. But Q is going to drop that hatch. It looks like he's potentially going to go for a plant here. He wants to make sure everything is clear before he starts living on that F key. But Harbor, that Vigil wants to come out and play. So Kiyu is going to go ahead and get that plant down. And Capsule
no, he won't.
comes in.
He won't get that plant down.
With that double kill in order to make sure that, if that plant were to have gone down, his teammate was protected.
That was a great 2v2 and amazing cover. As soon as I saw him drop the hatch and I saw those head holes on the wine wall, I knew Capsule was set up perfectly for this cover. All he needed to do was play it right, and clearly he did. Absolutely frying the Vigil, swinging from box and just quick peeking the dude blue. Very well done. Superlight now up 3-0, and it doesn't look like they're missing a beat right now.
No, they are not missing a single beat whatsoever. They have their plan. They know what they need to do, and it's working. That's the most important thing here. But we are in, I believe it's Kitchen at this point, Kitchen and Games. And once again, we're going to see the Goyo come out. We're going to hopefully see some better placement of those canisters because we want to make sure that they're going to start denying any type of entry or ability to push. That is specifically what that Goyo is for. That Aruni, however, on the board is supposed to stop any type of entry, but once again, we don't really see any type of, utility denial on the board, and that's where I think things are kind of going south for Homeland Academy, because we've seen nothing but utility dump come from Superlight. That's what's giving them that aggressive edge. It allows them to do those really quick last-minute situations where they're able to get those round wins.
Yeah, I think Superlight are just playing so perfectly into how this is going. Kiru, another beautiful opening pick. Like, he's just everywhere he needs to be. And clearly Lucas did not want to be there. Like, they're doing a perfect clear. They get picks. and they just shift focus completely onto the next task. They have their to-do list, and they're checking things off at like an amazing speed, especially when Mute is just gonna throw his body and speed things up.
Yes, and you mentioning speed things up, this is about the time that we see Superlight start getting very aggressive. Harbor's going to take down Cohen. Cohen being a critical operator, being that ace, being able to get some of those walls open, but Rival says, nah, you're not going to take out my teammate. But unfortunately, Fistify is going to also get Kirisu. Once again, these back and forth situations is what creates these insane matchups here. But we're going to see one Vulcan canister go ahead and be blown to deny some entry, but it's a 1v3. C4 is out. He's going to go and pre-place that because he wants to get anybody who's going through that hatch. But at this point, Superlight's just being patient. They know exactly what needs to be done. They know they can pinch this player. It's going to come down to essentially who's going to get these kills. And oh my goodness, Capsule's going to be the one who decides that this round is over and is going to give that 4-round lead in the hands of Superlight. This is potentially going to be a 7-0 situation if we continue it this way.
Not that you say it now. You just jinxed it.
Isn't that the point?
No, I want to see it happen. But yeah, no, like, there's nothing to really talk about here on the side of Superlight. They're just playing perfect. And I feel like Homeland are holding their ground. They're doing very well. And then they'll just give up a bunch of bodies out of nowhere. And it'll just throw the round. If they just sit and stick to their guns and relax, I feel like they could bring this game around.
Well, that is what Homeland is usually known for, is being able to actually go through each one of their, defending rounds more slow and methodical and kind of like sticking to their positions. Like we did see with Agnon in that last round, he did decide to stick on site and not potentially roam out and go for those kills, leaving, nobody on site essentially, since he was that last player. So that was, good on him, to be able to be that kind of patient. But that, unfortunately, just 3 players coming after you all at once, it's very hard to figure out exactly which bullets you need to be focused on first. But yes, we are going to go ahead and see we are on round 5. This is going to be where things generally heat up, because round 6 is when we see things kind of swap around. Cohen is already droning out through games because he wants to make sure that everything is properly set up for his players to start entering and
Did
to
we
get
just lose color? Am I colorblind?
No, I think we actually did just lose color. That is a very interesting bug here. But yes, Capsule's going to start getting players off the board. So 2 players already off the board on the side of Homeland. We want to see Homeland potentially get 1 round, but no! Superlight just has their numbers. Mute does get 1 off onto Capsule, however, but
they have sight control. It doesn't matter. Mute's going to have to recover coming down the stairs. Plant will be going down. Against all odds, they know where he is. Rival's gonna scoop up the kill. What's that now? 5-0?
Yes, if Superlight just won this round, it is official 5-0. So we'll be going into round 6 officially, which will be we're going into round 6, which if they win this, it'll go into match point. But Homeland has decided to take a timeout after losing 5 rounds consecutively. We usually see teams do it after 3 rounds in a row. Why do you think Homeland waited so long in order to take this timeout?
I personally think it's because they get to the 4-0 and they're like, okay, we can win this round, because they had a little bit of time to talk about it anyways during their op pick, and they're like, okay, we can win this round. We're good. We'll move on. And then it doesn't go their way. It goes completely sideways and it hits the fan. And now they have to salvage something. They need to be able to claw back any form of a round here in order to bring back a colossal amount of rounds.
I mean, there's a potential to do it, but we're going to go back into game here at this point. This is the last round that we're going to see Homeland Academy on the defense. So this is where they're going to have to shine when it comes to defensive play, because this is the last chance that they have. So kitchen and dining we go, and I do see a bandit on the board, so we might see some bandit tricking.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Oh, kitchen first. Not kitchen first. Kitchen third. Since they've been nearly flawless through this first half. I don't know really why they're... Never mind. Oh my gosh. I am losing it right now because I was about to say, I don't know why they're changing up their setup if they were doing so well, thinking we had already swapped sides. Yeah, no, clearly something needs to change, so their operators did from Homeland Academy, hoping to bring out this last round after attack timeout and go 5-1 and make a miraculous comeback. But in the meantime, Superlight will try and not let that happen.
Yes, that's the one thing we are seeing that is tried and true from the side of Superlight is they will not give any ability for Homeland to regroup and try to bring things back. But we already have players in the building. Capsule is already just like, screw it, I'm going in. Was attempting to get that frag onto the Goyo, but unfortunately Goyo just was able to snap back around. That's what happens when you get a little bit too cocky, and I think that's what Superlight possibly was doing here. They thought that they had this in the bag, but Superlight, come on, you've got to slow down just a little bit because now you're in a 3v2 situation, and this is going to end a lot quicker than it started. We have 2 minutes still left on the board, and we have a 3v2. That is not common.
No, it is not. And there's 2 minutes left to work with. It's still winnable for Superlight. They can still salvage this round. They do need to, however, basically strong arm their way in past mirror windows, past hard walls, past shields, in order to get into sight and gain any form of a round. But first they're going to want to do is isolate at least 1 or 2 more picks to confidently take down sight. So they're going to want to push above, as we see here, and it's going to be very, very slow because they don't have all these people to hold all these many angles, so they're just going to have to do it progressively. And as they slowly take up together, Harbor's going to get down by Kiru, and now they're going to have top floor. I believe Mute's fallen off, and
Yes.
he will now lurk into dining room, and with the minute remaining, they will have to work another pick, I believe, onto Fisify in West Main, and then they could plant kitchen.
There's definitely a potential for a plant here, but a 2v2 situation isn't the end of the world for the side of Homeland Academy. We are going to see, obviously, the typical thing from Superlight. You want to see them, open up the floor, but we did see that soft breach go down. I feel like that's going to be about potentially a sound distraction there, because once they pop that, then that's going to create a lot of sound that is going to muffle the side of things from the side of Homeland. But smokes are going to start coming out as we're past that 30-second threshold, the typical thing that we normally see. Unfortunately, Coin's going to take down the Mute, so
Wow.
Kiru's going to get that last kill and confirm it, so now we're officially on match point. That timeout didn't really seem to do much for Homeland.
I think it did do quite a bit. They held it down a lot longer than normal. The rounds went down to the last couple seconds, and it was a 2v2. It's a huge improvement on Homeland, but it still wasn't enough. But there is progression happening.
I mean, potentially, but it could also just be the luck of the draw that they were able to not have that Goyo go down and get that first kill on the board, because that could create a lot of momentum. But match point it is. We're going back to the exact same site, but on the flip side, it's going to be Superlight who's defending this time. All Superlight really has to do is hold it down. They have 3 ways to win this. They can either kill all the players, prevent the plant, obviously, defuse if the plant goes down, or run out of time. So they have a much, much larger advantage because they have 3 ways to win this round.
Yeah, Superlight's margin of error is very, very big right now. They can do whatever, and it won't really matter for the next 20 minutes. So, realistically, Superlight have everything they need to pull out this win. And at this point, Homeland, nothing to lose. They can try literally anything at this point. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, well, you were kind of doomed from the start.
Now let's go ahead and point out this defensive side of Superlight. Something that we're seeing a little bit different here is we do see some utility denial. Finally, we see a Jaeger on the board. We also see the Mute come out, which is going to be great for denying drones. But speaking of Mute, he's going to take down Rival. Rival being a very strong player on the side of Superlight, and Capsule just like that's going to take down Harbor, evening up things. So I'm wondering, maybe since we swapped sides, we might see a different Homeland.
Yeah, no, I think Homeland got a lot more aggressive here. They were swinging in pretty quickly and pretty confidently. They got that first pick, and then they lost Harbor, and then everything kind of slowed down while they had to get this wall. Wow, great team cohesion here. Just opening up the hole for your teammate so he can just spray through. Amazing. Blue's is going to get a long kill. Sorry to cut you off there, as Lucas replies with 2, putting it in a 2v2.
Yes, but a 2v2 is quickly going to be a 2v1, but Cohen still has really low HP here, so a couple really well-placed shots can make this a 1v1. Now, Fisify has to be patient, has to play this smartly, needs intel from his team, but is not going to get it, and Cohen is going to take down Fisify. Comes to my predictions so far this season.
Yes, that is amazing. And what else is amazing is a clean 7-0. That was like a half-hour game.
I mean, sometimes that's just the way Siege be. Sometimes
the way it goes.
But yes, once again, we're going to pull in a player from the side of Superlight because we want to get, pick their brain and figure out exactly how tonight went down. So if you guys don't mind, give us a few minutes. We'll be right back with that interview. All right. We are joined by Cohen from the side of Superlight. Congratulations on the first 7-0 of the season. I do have to ask you a little sensitive question, though. I know you guys have been under quite a bit of scrutiny since the situation that happened with Static Gaming League. What are you guys doing for season 3 of Xenon to kind of prove yourselves worthy of the T3 scene?
Well, we had an issue in that league. So what we had to do, we made the members in question both factory reset their PCs so that we ensured that nothing like that would ever happen again. And now we're just trying to get back to work. We proved before that we can beat good teams, and we're just trying to continue doing that.
Well, good on you guys. Like, that's going some pretty long, like, extreme lengths in order to, come back from such really, terrible comments and, really magnifying glass situations. But I think Awkward might have a really good question for you as well.
I do have a really good question. Do you think your Superlight synergy with your team is the secret sauce to your victories?
Oh yeah, the mouses are us. Without the mouses, we're nothing. As our name says, we are Superlight.
Have you guys applied for a sponsorship from Logitech yet?
It might take a couple more XGS wins before we're able to do that, but we're hoping that's up next.
That would be the dream. Imagine you guys having the tag and the mice to back it up.
Well, I know you guys are up next, that's for sure. Do you have anyone you want to shout out before we send it?
Shout out my boy Nick Moop. His entire city's internet died, so we didn't have our coach behind us, but maybe it would have been if we would have had him, but
Well, that is awesome. Hopefully he gets his internet up back soon. But I know this was a fairly quick interview. I know everybody's probably ready to get off, maybe go play some ranked and hang out. But thank you so much, Cohen, for taking the time to join us. We here at Xenon will be back on Thursday for another 2 matches, same time, same place. And once again, thank you, Awkward, so much for joining me. It was quite a treat to have somebody with such a resume behind them in the casting booth with me.
It was great to be here. I had a lot of fun.
And I'm gonna pick on him for 1 second. Stay awake during D&D nights. You did good this past weekend. But with that
You're
being
lucky I'm awake right now.
with that being said, we are gonna call it a night. We will see you guys back at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday for 2 more matches for season 3 of Xenon. Catch you guys later.